Najarian, and this is today's 3 at 3. 3 at 3 every business day. I bring you unusual option activity, perhaps a little news of the day, and maybe some other insights that I can offer. And let's get today's edition started. The disclaimer says that this presentation is for educational and informational purposes only, full stop. We are not your financial advisor. I trade for my own account. I cannot trade for you. We do have an arm that does do that, a Rebellion Capital, but I cannot trade for you, or I wouldn't be able to go on TV and do the things that I do. So if you'd like to follow any of the trades that I'm describing, please understand that it is not financial advice. Also, we have intellectual property, which is not limited to let's see, and I don't know why it keeps flipping like that. There has to be some reason. I'll have to figure it out. But anyway, intellectual property, yes. Registered marks, trademarks, patents, copyrights on almost everything you're about to see. I thought I'd kick it off with Bitcoin nearing a record before the largest crypto exchange listing, and that's largest U.S. crypto exchange because Binance is much bigger than Coinbase. But nonetheless, it is going to come public, is Coinbase, at a huge triple, I'm just stunned, over $100 billion market cap. I love it because, in full disclosure, I am an owner of Voyager, which is also a place where you can trade up to 50 different cryptos for zero commission. And get paid for deposited crypto and so forth. But wow, I don't know that I could possibly justify the $100+ billion valuation, but I love it. And hats off to you guys over at Coinbase for really paving the way for everybody else. Thank you. This is something I thought I'd share with you because I got this off of the S1. As you see there, the source is the Coinbase S1 and 8K. And this shows us that their revenue, total revenue, in 2020 was $1.3 billion. It's a big number. This year, it's estimated to be 5 times that number. And then next year, 8.8. The year after that, 10.9. You see all the different projections. Those are absolutely mind-blowing numbers. And that's why it's getting that mind-blowing valuation. It is just wonderful and something that makes you almost scratch your head and say, really? Can they get there? Yeah, they can, and they are. And they have drawn an awful lot of interest, folks. And if you look at, for instance, Riot Blockchain or mRNA, these are two of the plays, of course, MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor's company, MSTR. I think, actually that's, I think what we're looking at here is an awful lot of people chasing into every other way ahead of the listing. In other words, alternative coins, altcoins are up big. Bitcoin broke through 60,000 again and has now pulled back under 60,000. But we're seeing an awful lot of interest ahead of this IPO. What do you need to know? Coinbase IPO is coming your way on Wednesday. It's the 12th today. It's supposed to be coming out Wednesday. So watch for that. I think a lot of these are flipping up and down based on the focus that will be huge going into this IPO. Now, most of the people that I know that are involved already are in and actively trading, but there's a whole host of folks that have never traded a cryptocurrency, token, utility coin, anything else, and they will be focused because of the Coinbase IPO and all the headlines that it will garner. This is our daily Crypto Bite. We thank you because we're now drawing over 50,000 viewers a day to this program. Voyager is a sponsor of it. It's an arm's length transaction, even though we do own part of Voyager, do Pete and myself, as well as Market Rebellion owns a piece. But every day we talk about unusual activity and volumes and what's driving the altcoin market as well as Bitcoin itself. And those two guys that are in there with me are CJ and Matt. They have created the curriculum. They monitor the chat room and the charting service that we've got there. Can't encourage you enough to check it out. It's free. It's on our YouTube channel after the fact. It streams live. But I'd say please check it out. And if you're somebody that's so disposed as to considering entering that daily crypto room, it's basically 24/7. It's unbelievable because they're in there talking with people around the world, thousands of folks around the world that are in that crypto room, discussing trades, discussing which altcoins are moving and so forth. It is indeed valuable information. You can try it out for $1 for the first month. You just go to marketrebellion.com and then put in /try crypto. Let's take a look at Sabre. I've been talking about this one since it was single digits. You probably remember me emphasizing it again when it was 11, again when it was 12. Now it's almost 15. Sabre is the software that's behind a lot of the online travel sites, SABR. So bullish activity, stock's $14.93. They bought 14,000, which is 1.4 million share equivalent. You guys know, if you're a regular viewer, that every option is for 100 shares of stock. So when you say 14,000, drop two more zeros on there, and it's 1.4 million share equivalent. That's a big trade. So I want to follow big trades. That's what Pete and I do. So at $1.47, yeah, I want to be in on this one. I am in these, and this is out till July 15th. So I'm in the at the monies, selling above the market. $1.47 was their entry on this trade. There is a chart still in the same range as when we saw it this morning, just eased off of the Friday closing price, which was $15.37, and instead it's right now $14.84. And I like doing those spreads 1-to-1, owning an at the money, selling an above the market call. It's just what I do. This is our Market Rebellion site on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and you type in Market Rebellion, you can subscribe. It is completely free. You get Pete's The Take, which goes up every day at 10:30 a.m. You get the Daily Crypto Bite, which goes up a half an hour before that at 10 o'clock a.m. You get my 60-second video, my 3 at 3. You get all of it for free. You just go over to YouTube and subscribe, and you can be part of the family. And again, it's completely free. Just youtube.com, type in Market Rebellion. Facebook. All right, let's take a look, because one of the mega caps in tech, Facebook, getting some love today. They're buying bullish calls 2 weeks out. Not this expiration, not the expiration that is this Friday, but the following Friday. So almost 2 full weeks into the future. So they're buying the 320 calls with the stock at approximately 310. I buy the at the money, so I'm buying the 310s, selling upside calls. They paid $2.54 for this trade. You should be aware of that, $2.50 or thereabouts. That's what I'd be looking to target, the 310, and then sell a higher strike against it, 1-to-1, as I usually do. There's Facebook, just moving over 310 on the rebound from the sell-off. It opened today at 311, which was down about $1.40 from the close on Friday. Traded down, as you saw, when we triggered it at 309.64, and now just over 310.40, pushing to 310.50. So that's my trade. Long the 310 calls, short a higher strike against it, 1-to-1. I'd encourage you to check out what Pete and I do as well over at Market Rebellion. You can type in marketrebellion.com/get started. In fact, if you retweet today's episode, you could be one of the lucky people wearing this Market Rebellion Trade Like a Rebel t-shirt, because we've just got these in. Love them. Love the little guy riding the rocket. You could get one of those for retweeting our any of our video programming that's over here. So whether it's this one, whether it's Pete's The Take, whether it's the Daily Crypto Bite, if you retweet it, you're in the running for it. You could get that, or that lovely hat, which I have one of these baseball caps, but we already sold out of these, so I can't give you one. But I can give you those knit caps with "Trade Like a Rebel" on them. Bang! Path towards 1,800. Gold price not reflecting risks of high inflation, they say. Standard Chartered Bank out of South Africa says. So 1,800, maybe. We see unusual call activity in GLD, which is the ETF that tracks gold. So you can buy miners. You can buy the GLD, which tracks the precious metal itself. They're buying the July 175 calls, but it's trading 162. So if you're a regular viewer, you know I'm going to buy an at the money and sell an out of the money. And I'm going to try to do that spread for about the same price that they paid for the 175s. Can I do that? Of course you can. It's just a question of how many strikes above the strike that you're buying. So I'm buying the 162, the at the money. Why am I comfortable buying the at the money more so than the 175s? Well, because I don't want to ask it to make an extraordinary move, which is what I would be asking it to do, it being the GLD, if indeed I buy the 175s, because, you know, that's 13 bucks out of the money. It's not quite a 10% move, but, you know, it's 7% or higher. I'd rather buy something at the money and move the odds into my favor. So that's what I'm doing here, folks. Bought the 162s, sold upside calls, tried to do it for around $1.20. There is one of the reasons that I like this trade. Look at that 52-week range, 157 to 194. I'm buying this thing with this now at 162.28. I'm basically getting in just $5 above that 52-week low, and yet look at where the high is, $32 above it. So 194 is the high. I'm getting in at 162. A lot closer to the low end of this. I like the trade, especially with the Fed running the printing press, which has been good for Bitcoin. It's also eventually going to be good for gold. So that's the way I'm playing it. Questions? Yeah, I'm going to get to a couple questions and then we're going to say bye-bye. First question is from Greg Shatsky. His handle is Metro Pioneer, which is at METRO PIONEER. And he sent us a question saying, thoughts on CWH? Camping World, love it. Marcus Lemonis, love Marcus. At one point, Pete almost did some business with Marcus because Pete's wife was running a kitchen for cookies that she was making and selling these cookies all over the place, and almost did a deal with Marcus. But Marcus is a brilliant guy. I think he did a great job with Camping World. You guys that have followed this stock know that, you know, look at this stock. It was so much cheaper last year and now has been moving higher and higher as the pandemic really pushed a lot of people into Thor Industries, into Camping World. So yes, Greg, I like this play. Long calls, according to Joel Altman. His handle is at ALTMAN_JOEL. Altman _Joel. All right, when CNBC lists that you're being long a call, does that include covered calls you sold? No, but in many cases I am in covered calls against positions that I own. For those of you who are not as familiar about what Joel's talking about here, CNBC publishes every time I'm on, every time Josh Brown, every time Pete, my brother, is on, every time Joe Terranova is on. Any of the contributors, because we're the only ones other than Jim Cramer that can trade stocks, none of the anchors on CNBC, and that goes from Scott Wapner to Becky Quick to Andrew Ross Sorkin. None of them can trade stock. It's not that they're not smart. CNBC has just asked them not to as terms of their employment. They have to buy broad market indices like ETFs, mutual funds, and things like that. And then they have to hold them for 90 days. But we, since we can buy them, they want us to disclose every show what we own, what we're long, and what we're short. Now, in many cases, stocks that I'm long, I have written calls against them. That does limit my upside in those stocks, because if I own the stock at 172 and I sell the 175 call, I don't get upside after it crosses 175. It has capped my upside, but that premium might be generating cash flow for my accounts in retirement. It might be giving me a little cushion to the downside. But to answer your question, Joel, yes, if they list me as being long a call, I'm long that call. A covered call is a short call against stock that you own. So no, they don't list every short call that I am short. Thank you, Joel, for the question. IGT. Let's go to Owen Comfer, and Owen's handle is at OTCOMPHE. All right. So he says, what the heck do we do with IGT? What a debacle. Yeah, IGT has been a debacle. Use your discipline. My discipline, folks, is the same for every position, whether it's IGT, whether it's Apple, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Berkshire Hathaway. My discipline is the following. If I buy an option and it loses half of its value, I buy it for $1.75, it falls to 85 cents. I'm out. I buy it at $2, it falls to $1. I'm out. I cut my losses on a 50% move or less because that's my discipline on losses. And I have them every day. I don't win on every trade. Nobody does. But by cutting my losses, which Owen is talking about here, I can stay at the table longer. I can make money more consistently. So look at an example. I'm long one call at $1, another call at $1. The one call that I'm long at $1 falls to 50 cents, I'm out. The other call that I'm long at $1 doubles, trades $2. I take half of that money off the table. I put a stop order, 25 cents usually under where I got out. In other words, if I got out at 2, I put that stop order at 175. If we start threatening to get down to that level, bang, that one's gone as well. That way I'm always making more money than I am losing on losses. You can't eat like a bird and defecate like an elephant. You have to cut your losses when you have them, and you have to let the winners run as best you can. That's my discipline. It has served me well in coming up on 40 years. I've been in this business for 39 years, folks, trading. I came here in 1981. The reason you survive, the reason many of you would agree that you survive and thrive, is you've got to be disciplined about profits and losses. You don't double down on losses and you take profits when you have them. That's my rule. And if you'd like to check out that great webinar that my brother Pete and Ryan Mastro did last Thursday, I believe, you can just check it out at marketrebellion.com. They did strategies we love for choppy markets. Markets have been a little choppy lately. Keep in mind that this is free. We provide most of these webinars for free. You don't have to pay us. You do have to register to watch it live, but after it's not live anymore and we've just streamed them, you don't have to be registering for them. We usually just tweet out links and you can go there. I'd encourage you to do that. Thank you, folks. I hope wherever you are, it's a good day. I'm looking forward to closing out a good day of trading again, and I'll see you back here tomorrow on Market Rebellion Television for 3 at 3. Thank you. Please tell a friend.